The NDP is taking credit for pushing the Liberals to include in its priorities in this budget, moving forward on pharmacare and funding a school meal program. But the party says Liberals fall short of achieving the, quote, generational fairness and the budget, and they have not yet said whether or not they're going to support this budget. But perhaps he'll tell us right now here on Your Morning. Welcome back, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, joining us from Ottawa. Good morning.
Good morning. I'll give you some breaking news today.
Okay, will you? Let's start with that. Are you going to support this budget?
No, I was just joking. We're still. We have not made that decision. This is a decision we're going to take some time to make. There's some concerns that I've raised. This Liberal government hasn't taken the opportunity to take on corporate greed, which is the major driver driving up the cost of your groceries. Explains why we're paying some of the highest cell phone and internet fees in the country, or in the world, I should say. And explains why speculators and corporate landlords are scooping up and driving up the cost of housing. Corporate greed is what needs to be tackled, and the Liberals haven't done it. I should mention, though, we were proud that we were able to force this government to bring in some positive things, despite the best efforts of Pierre Poilievre, who was trying to block and take away dental care from seniors, who wanted to stop kids from getting meals in school, and who was opposed to free birth control and free diabetes medication and devices that we achieved in this budget. Pierre Poilievre wanted to block those things, continues to want to take those away from people.
I want to, speaking of Mr. Poilievre, let's talk about something he talks about a lot. Small and medium businesses are now eligible for the government's carbon rebate program. And recently, you've said you want big business to pay more rather than working people. You later clarified that the NDP's position on the consumer carbon tax remains unchanged. But what is your position on the carbon tax right now for consumers?
Our position hasn't changed. We believe in a price on pollution, but we're really concerned that big polluters are still getting off the hook. And when we look at some of the evidence, some of the most effective policies that we have are going after industrial pollution, and those are areas where we can strengthen and make the existing tools that we have even stronger to go after that pollution, to stop them from polluting. I should also mention in this that Pierre Poilievre actually wants to do the opposite. He wants to allow big polluters to dump into oceans and rivers, poison our air and land without any limitation, without any regulation. I think that's absolutely wrong and irresponsible. We believe we need to go after pollution, but we're also concerned that the Liberal approach is unfair, and I highlighted one specific element of unfairness. Working class people were told, no money for you for heat pumps, we've run out of money. But for big oil and gas companies, a recent report puts that public subsidy, that public money, government money going to these highly profitable companies at $18 billion a year. How is that fair to a working class person who says, well, there's no money for me to get some help so I can get a heat pump or do the right thing to lower the emissions in my home and lower my costs, but you've got $18 billion to give away to oil and gas companies that are making not just good profits, but record profits? That's unfair, and that's what I pointed out in my speech. So
you and Mr. Poilievre, just to be clear, agree on the fact that consumers shouldn't be paying this tax, which looks like a cost if you're an average Canadian. But you wanted to go to big business.
No, I've said that my position hasn't changed, and I'm very opposed to Pierre Poilievre's position, which is let's scrap any sort of accountability for big polluters. Let's let big polluters pollute all they want. That's his plan, to be frank. He wants big polluters to be able to do whatever they want, pollute as much as they want, dump into oceans, dump into rivers, poison the air and the land. That's wrong. I believe that those big polluters should pay their fair share. My critique is that the Liberals have a plan which says big polluters get public subsidies. Big oil and gas companies get public money, but hardworking Canadians get no help to get a heat pump in their homes. That's what I highlighted as very unfair. It's an unfair approach to working class people where they're seeing billions of dollars go to these really profitable oil and gas companies, and they're not getting the support they need. That's my problem.
I want to look ahead a little bit to the next election, so 2025. The Conservatives are attempting to tie your party directly to the Liberals. They refer often to the Supply and Confidence Agreement as a costly coalition. Here's my question when I looked at all the spending that was in that budget yesterday. Have you done the Liberals' homework for them? And come election time next year, will the NDP, will that translate into votes for the NDP? Or are those going to go to the Liberals? Because what happens in this picture behind me here at the House of Commons, that's what matters for you and for the party, is being able to stay there. So will you get the credit you deserve from what is in this budget?
I think it's very clear, and Canadians have seen this, that the Liberals have had 9 years and they haven't acted in a really responsible way to deal with the problems that people are dealing with. And we have forced them. I think it's very clear to Canadians that they would not have done these things unless forced. Pharmacare is something we forced them to do. The school lunch program, the Liberals have promised it for years, hadn't delivered it. We forced them. We made it very clear that we wanted to see it in this budget. We forced them to do it. And folks have no doubt that the Renters Protection Fund, something we've been calling for over a year, we forced the government to give people who are renters some support so they don't feel like they're going to live in constant fear of being rent-evicted out of their homes. So those are things that we clearly fought for, and we're going to let Canadians know that you can count on us to fight for you. We make things happen. And the Liberals would not have done this but for us. And the Conservatives, their plan is to cut all of this. They want to cut. And you see that in provinces where Conservatives are in power, they cut healthcare, they cut education, they cut the things that you need, and it makes life harder. In Manitoba, people just rejected that message. So we want to put that to Canadians. Let's keep in mind, Pierre Poilievre is going to cut all the things that your family needs. And he's not shy about it. He's been very open. He will cut pensions. He will cut old age security. He will cut healthcare. And that's going to hurt.
All right, Mr. Singh, thanks for joining us from Ottawa this morning. Good to have you on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.